gentlemen, hello, good morning, and welcome to Margam Orangery. I hope you can hear me in the back. Give me a long wave if you can hear me in the back. You're happy? That's a short wave. Very good. It's a microwave, by the way. Welcome to this gorgeous place on this spectacular morning. This is the site of a Cistercian monastery, of course, where for hundreds of years people made a pilgrimage to come and study here and learn. And we gather here this morning to consider perhaps one of the great challenges of our times. Social media is, of course, one of the great assets of our generation. I think very few people would disagree with that. A connected world for families and friends, businesses, schools, universities, and education. I've spent a lot of the last 2 years working for BBC World Service in Libya, in Egypt and Jordan and Ramallah, launching new television programs in the aftermath of what's laughingly called the Arab Spring in the Middle East. And there, social media has been absolutely central in trying to change politics. It's given people a voice who previously had none. Social media's influence has been absolutely breathtaking in that part of the world. But I guess like any tool, whether it's a car or a knife, social media is also available, of course, to those whose intention is less than constructive. In the wrong hands, it's capable of dispensing evil. And forgive me for looking a little bleary-eyed this morning, but I got clobbered with the late television news shift last night. And your last duty on that shift, after you've said good night, is to log off the studio laptop, the studio computer, but not before browsing with some trepidation, I have to tell you, the night's social media traffic, 98% of which is hugely useful. Lots and lots of stories. Jamie, you might want to follow up this. People from universities, from Holyhead to Haverfordwest, giving you stories and leads that obviously is our bread and butter for the following day and the following week, which is all hugely useful and greatly welcomed. Nice feedback as well. Terrible tie, get rid of the wellerman, you know, the sort of stuff. But always, of course, in any large audience programme, a few acidic saddos who are less than kind. And I have to confess to you, the first time I've really ever done it in public, but even as a rather hard-bitten hack in his 40s, I have to tell you, even I shudder at some of it, how on earth a teenager copes who is relentlessly targeted by hatred or racism on social media, I really, really don't know. So this conference is funded by Welsh Government and being delivered in partnership with Cardiff University. The conference was put together and designed in collaboration with a working group consisting of third sector organisations and criminal justice agencies. Social media has, of course, fundamentally altered the ways in which we all interact. The most recent estimates put social media membership at approximately 2.5 billion non-unique global users. Now, while social media can be used to foster positive relationships, there is considerable mounting evidence to suggest it's also being used to target hate crime and bullying against people and communities. The most recent stats, the 2014 Wall Wales Hate Crime Project, evidence that ethnic minorities and young people continue to face abuse and harassment on a daily basis. And new evidence from the Social Data Science Lab at Cardiff University shows how these crimes are migrating to social media. Well, the problem is now recognised as a priority by the UK government. The former UK Justice Secretary Chris Grayling announced plans in 2014 to amend the Criminal Justice and Courts Bill to increase the maximum sentence for online abusive and hateful content from 6 to 24 months. The Welsh Government continues to implement tackling hate crimes and incidents, a framework for action, and the fast-paced evolution of social media is providing significant challenges for partners and agencies. Despite this recognition, practitioners can remain in the dark about the nature, prevalence and the resources available to tackle cyber hate and bullying on social media. So this conference aims to address this knowledge gap via a series of keynote presentations from high-profile leaders in the field and via hands-on discussion in the workshops. The conference also aims to draw upon your experiences to set out the current barriers and to identify potential solutions to draw together national recommendations. It's also been targeted at practitioners, policymakers and criminal justice agencies. So a distinguished lineup of guest speakers to talk to you today. In a few moments, Lesley Griffiths AM, the Minister for Communities. We have Claire Lilly here from the NSPCC, Paul Gianassi from the Ministry of Justice, Alan Michael, Police and Crime Commissioner, and we also have Nick Pickles from Twitter UK. Now, before we hear from the first of our speakers, let me just whiz you through the housekeeping. No fire alarms scheduled for today, so if the alarms do sound, it's the real thing. Please observe the old custom of allowing aging journalists to go first. The fire exits are in the centre of the building. You've walked past them on your way here, so retrace your steps. And the fire assembly point is the car park, which I think most of you probably used before you came in here. The disabled toilets and the toilets are situated right there at the front of the chairs. These presentations are going to be filmed, and these, along with any resources, will be available on the conference website, which will be sent to you following today's conference. A final conference report will be sent to you later in the year. If you have any questions you want to raise, or you're not sure which workshop you're in or where you can ask, there are officials here from the Welsh Government. They're here with green badges, so actually, even why don't you all give a wave, and then we know who you are. Stand up and give a wave. There we are. These are the happy, smiling people who will help you in the right direction. There are also feedback and evaluation forms here. It's very important, please, that you fill those in so that we can get an idea of what you make of today. If you need Wi-Fi, there's Wi-Fi here. It's HCAW Cymru. No passwords required, just select it and you're straight in. That's just about enough from me for the moment. It's a very great pleasure to welcome our first speaker, ladies and gentlemen. A round of applause, please, for Lesley Griffiths.
Good morning, Borodar. Thank you very much, Jamie. It's a real pleasure for me to welcome you all here today to this conference on cyber hate and bullying in the age of social media. I am the Minister for Communities and Tackling Poverty in the Welsh Government, and within my portfolio I have responsibility for hate crime and community cohesion. I'm very pleased the Welsh Government and Cardiff University have worked in partnership to develop what I believe will be a stimulating and thought-provoking conference today. We've received an overwhelming response from people right across the UK to attend, and I think that really demonstrates the real need for practitioners and policymakers to come together to discuss these issues. The Welsh Government is determined to continue to deliver against our national hate crime and incident framework. Being a victim of hate crime is not inevitable, it is not acceptable, it is not right, and there is no way in 21st century Wales we will ever consider hostility and prejudice to be commonplace. Each one of us has a leadership role to play to tackle and challenge hate crimes and bullying. So my message is very clear today. We should not stand by and accept hate crime or incidents in any form, whether this happens in our home, on our street or online. Today's conference is taking place during Hate Crime Awareness Week. I've been pleased to be able to work with the Police and Crime Commissioners in Wales by providing some funding to increase awareness of hate crimes and incidents. There has been a hive of activity, including roadshows and community engagement taking place across Wales, to get these messages into the heart of our communities. At this point, I want to launch a campaign devised by the 4 Welsh Police Forces and Welsh Government. This aims to get people to think about how they behave and the influences of modern-day media. The campaign has been running during Hate Crime Awareness Week, and I would like to invite you to watch a short clip. to use this campaign and to promote it by using the hashtag #MakeHateHistory, not only this week but every week across the year. I think the key message of the campaign is hate is a taught behaviour, and I think that's very thought-provoking. Social media plays a significant role in most of our lives. As we take strides to be a more digitally inclusive nation, there are significant challenges and levels of responsibilities we must all face. We can see every day how the media and social networks can actually shape our views of the world, without us really understanding people's experiences and life stories. We sometimes only get to hear about the extreme and negative versions of events through media coverage, or perhaps see negative tweets or Facebook postings in response from our friends and family. Sensationalised stories, of course, are aimed to cause us all to react, sometimes in a very emotive way. Responses to recent world events have led to an influx of people sometimes airing racist and religiously intolerant views online. Again, this is unacceptable. Sitting behind a computer, a smartphone or a tablet does not mean you are in a bubble. You are responsible for what you post online, and if this breaks hate crime laws, then you are responsible to face any consequences. There are, of course, horrific cases of online trolls and extremist groups who use social media to spread division and hatred. I'm pleased to see there are measures and steps being taken to ensure this behaviour can be dealt with by the law. However, there are still certainly grey areas, which can be fully exploited by some groups, which need to be considered and tightened. There is clearly a balancing act to be achieved to protect our freedom of speech. However, any language which is deemed to cause any hostility or prejudice must be dealt with in a robust manner. Peer pressure, or being afraid to challenge online views, is certainly a significant issue. It would be interesting today to hear ideas on how we can all challenge negative views and stereotypes in an online environment, and of course this needs to be done in an appropriate and responsible way. Is it right to stand by if we witness behaviour online which we think is inappropriate or offensive? Quite simply, no. This might mean sometimes challenging our friends and families, or even having difficult conversations with our children or parents alike. Technology is changing at a rapid pace, and that brings its own challenges. New social media platforms are under development constantly, and in particular we're seeing communications such as Tinder, Tumblr and Instagram changing how young people interact. So new technology can sometimes bring significant safeguarding issues. We've seen some high-profile stories, particularly from young people in Wales, who've highlighted the significant impact on online bullying and hate. The use of social media has now meant this behaviour is 7 days a week, 24 hours a day form of harassment, which in many instances cannot be escaped. This can impact on mental well-being and means people may not even feel safe within their own home. When I've been talking to people about our hate crime framework, I've consistently heard how parents do not understand the social media their children use. This can also be the case for practitioners working out in our communities. There's been some positive work undertaken in schools across Wales to provide resources for parents and children on social media. However, it will be important to consider how we can continue to educate and increase awareness of how some apps and social media can be misused and how children can protect themselves online. Of course, more needs to be done to enhance online safety, and I am keen to work with the industry and the UK Government to consider how we can continue to enhance greater protection for us all in an online environment. I'm very pleased to have Nick Nichols from Twitter UK and Paul Janassi, who is the Ministry of Justice Lead on hate crime, speaking here today. What I really want to achieve out of today's conference is for us to explore some of the big issues and for us all to learn more from sector experts. However, it is vitally important in the workshop sessions this afternoon that some of the barriers and solutions to some of the issues which we will discuss are identified. As James said, a conference report will be produced which will include a number of multi-agency recommendations to take forward across Wales. I would like to end my conference address by highlighting how the power of good can be achieved through social media. Today may highlight on some of the negative uses of social media. However, our patterns and behaviours for social interaction have considerably changed in the last decade and have provided us with opportunities to be connected to people across the globe. I've seen a very recent example of public outpouring and support, as we all have, for the Syrian refugee crisis. I've been extremely proud of the hard work to provide support across Wales. Social media has played a key role in raising awareness of the plight of the refugees and bringing people together in fundraising activities. An online environment has ensured Wales is connected to the world, so we can fully play our part to help people in Syria who are in significant need. I'm extremely proud to live in a Wales where we are blessed with wonderfully diverse communities who work together to make us such a strong society. This is regardless of a person's faith, race, disability, sexual orientation, or based on gender identity. Freedom of speech is a privilege. Let's ensure it continues to be used to protect people's rights to live in a safe and inclusive way. We will continue to strive to ensure diversity is respected in our homes, in our streets, and in our world of social media. Thank you very much.